About Hi, this is Lee McQueen, and I'm talking about ballot access questions that I had about Bernie Sanders, Jill Stein, and the Green Party. I had spoken about the possibility of Bernie Sanders joining Jill Stein on the Green Party ticket. Bernie Sanders has indicated no interest in doing this, although Jill Stein has announced her availability to join him on the Green Party ticket or have him join her on the Green Party ticket several times. And that possibility has been making its round in the news. And again, the question still remains whether Bernie Sanders would have any interest in doing this. Certainly, supporters of Bernie Sanders have a high degree of interest in this possibility. So, what to do, what to do, what to do? I was interested in this possibility because I support both Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein because of their specific focus on certain progressive issues, actually, many progressive issues. This year in 2016, the United States population is being aggressively put to war by our mega multinational corporations. They have declared war upon the U.S. population, and we see policemen in military garb being used as tools of those multinational corporations, and they are marching against citizens of the United States. And so the Transpacific Partnership and the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, these are tools of war against the citizens of both the European Union and the United States. And so people are afraid, they have concerns about the rule of law and what it will be under these so-called free trade deals. And so this is increasing interest in the Green Party. Out of all the national parties, it is the Green Party that fully comes out against the Trans-Pacific Partnership, as well as the Green Party presidential candidate, Jill Stein. Bernie Sanders is against the Trans-Pacific Partnership, but the Democrat Party is for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, as are Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party is flexible on the issue of free trade. The Libertarian Party is against regulation, most regulations when it comes to business. So the only other presidential candidate who has come out against free trade, and then specifically the Trans-Pacific Partnership and NAFTA, is Donald Trump of the Republican Party. Donald Trump is anti-free trade. However, the Republican Party does not support his position fully. So it is only the Green Party that is fully aligned with its presidential candidate against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And so this is why opponents of the Trans-Pacific Partnership are paying very close attention to Jill Stein, as am I. So I had a question about the possibility of Bernie Sanders running on the Green Party ticket. And this question is from me, a supporter of Bernie Sanders, but not from Bernie Sanders himself, who again has expressed no interest. But for other Bernie Sanders supporters who have those questions in their mind, I decided to do just a little bit of research. My concern about the possibility of Bernie Sanders being on Jill Stein's ticket is whether sore loser laws would prevent him from being in the ballots, and whether there would be any restrictions from him running under another party's banner if he had run through the primaries as a Democrat. This was above my head. So I consulted with the editor of an online news source called Ballot Access News. I contacted Richard Winger, who replied back immediately with his response. I asked him, is it possible for Bernie Sanders to run either at the top of the ticket as presidential candidate or as vice presidential candidate with Jill Stein? And he says, see if I can get over here. My computer's kind of slow. He says that the sore loser laws do not apply to vice president. Also, registration deadlines do not apply to vice president. He says in any event, generally sore loser laws don't apply to the president either. Only one person in history has ever been kept off a November ballot for president on the grounds that he or she had run in another party's presidential primary. That was Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party in 2012 in Michigan. He says, Richard Winger, in history, 13 individuals have run for president in major party primaries, and then they ran in November outside the major parties. So according to Richard Winger of Ballot Access News, it is possible for Bernie Sanders to do this without major penalties. The state of Michigan, there may be penalties because the penalties apply to Gary Johnson. And that's something to consider. Green is on a ballot in Michigan. There's a strong Green presence there. And then Michigan was a strong state for Bernie Sanders. I'm sure he would not want to jeopardize receiving votes from Michigan. And so it does appear to me that vice president would be probably the likeliest best case scenario if he did not want to lose the Michigan ballot. But that's speculation because Bernie Sanders has indicated no interest in doing this. But it's really nice to think about, isn't it? I'm going to leave a link to Richard Winger's Ballot Access News. And there's also information about state level primary and ballot access changes. For instance, California is considering instant runoff voting. All these things are interesting to read about, and Richard Winger has written about it on Ballot Access News. It's good to be informed, I think.